You're in Italy. Are you going to order spaghetti or ramen?
Oh, I'm getting spaghetti.
You're in Tokyo. Are you going to order spaghetti or ramen?
I'm getting ramen.
Right. So when I buy a Japanese game from Japan, I don't want freaking spaghetti.
Yeah.
I want ramen. And Sandfall and Expedition 33 understood that, and that's why they won.
Yes.
That's why they deserve it, because they didn't just make the best game of the year. They impacted the industry more than anyone has in the last decade.
Well, ladies and gents, boys and girls, what's good? Welcome to the very first episode of What's Brewing. My name is Andy Brew, and my guest today, I'm very honored for the first ever episode of this podcast to have the Landi Lodge in the house tonight. Landi, I know who you are, and a lot of people who, follow my channel, they know who you are, but some people probably don't. So tell me about you, tell me who you are, tell me what you do on YouTube, Twitch, on all these platforms, and then, just so people get to know you a little bit.
Right. So first of all, Andy, thanks for having me on. I'm so honored to be the first guest. The truth is, nobody would have been a better first guest. I'm happy to demonstrate that today. We're going to have some fun.
True.
But to give maybe the audience that's out of the loop an idea, my name's Landi. I run the Landi Lodge primarily over on YouTube. We're also on Twitter. We're also on Twitch. We're also on Kick. But YouTube is really the main hub of what we do. I primarily discuss RPGs. Once in a while, we'll dive into fighting games like Soul Calibur. Once in a while, adventure games like Zelda. But if you're particularly a fan of RPGs, particularly Square Enix, and you like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, then we're really the place for you. And even Octopath. We're starting to do a lot of Octopath on the channel now. So if all of that is tickling your fancy, the Landi Lodge is a place for you. I like to discuss primarily analyzing the stories, the narratives, the characters, the character arcs. I have an affinity and love of storytelling and writing and stuff like that. So primarily that's what we discuss. But once in a while we'll talk gameplay and things like that too. But overall, that's just a Spark Notes version of who I am and what I do on these airwaves.
Yeah, Landi's the man. Landi is one of the first people that actually, the first time I ever did a podcast with anybody, he was the second one. Steph was the first, and the Landi Lodge was the second. And I just thought Landi would be perfect, to have as the first guest on here for What's Brewing. So, Landi, let's talk about What's Brewing. The Game Awards are right around the corner, and they just released the Game Award nominees for all these categories. Game of the Year, everybody wants to know about Game of the Year. Everybody's talking about Game of the Year. So we're going to be talking about that because there's a lot of buzz about Game of the Year right now. We've got Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Hollow Knight Silksong, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Death Stranding 2, Hades 2, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, all of our 2025 Game of the Year nominees. Got a lot of twos in there. So, Landi, I want to ask you, one, how do you feel about these nominations? And two, are there a game or games that should be on here that did not make the Game of the Year nomination cut?
So, I actually like the spread this year, primarily because it seems to me like a lot of different genres are represented, which I think is a good thing, So in terms of the diverse gameplay those nominees all can offer, between, Silksong, which is like a 2D action platformer, you have Hades, which is like a roguelike, Donkey Kong Bonanza, 3D platformer with co-op elements, Expedition 33, a turn-based RPG. Like, again, a lot of variety there. So I actually am very happy about that. What I'm also happy is that there's not a lot of... I could be critical of the Game Awards for basically trying to present the video game industry like it's Hollywood, like it's cinema. And usually you can see that in their Game of the Year nominees. They usually slide in some one or two games that don't really belong, but they have like movie production appeal or they're based on a movie IP. That's absent this year. And I guess before I get into my criticism, I am notoriously very, very hard on the Game Awards, but I'll be the first one to say that I do feel like the event is getting better. I think overall it gets better every single year. I still have a lot of problems with it. I can be hard on it, but it might be hard to believe. I am rooting for Jeff. I am rooting for the Game Awards. I want to make that clear before I continue. Now, Split Fiction was robbed. Split Fiction was robbed so hard. It's a better game than Donkey Kong Bonanza. Similar sort of idea, a co-op platformer. I'm sorry, it got totally robbed. I think Split Fiction is a tremendous game. I think couch co-op is a lost art in the gaming world. So it's something we all grew up with. Some of our best memories are with couch co-op or co-op in general, and it's just missing from the modern gaming landscape. But games like It Takes Two, which came before, and Split Fiction, bro, like just for instance, like I played Split Fiction with my hometown best friend I've had since I was 5. We live a good 200-300 miles away now since I left my hometown, but Split Fiction gave us a game that like made us feel like kids again. And you have to work together.
Yeah.
It's so cool because like the gameplay flows with the narrative. Like, so just to give you guys a little bit of idea about this game, which I highly recommend, like you have two characters who are trying to get published. One is a sci-fi writer and one is a fantasy writer. So those differences clash. You see like the type of person who temperamentally is drawn to sci-fi, the type of person temperamentally drawn to fantasy, and by exploring their split fictions, let's just put it that way, you see like how what they're writing as writers comes from who they are as a person. It's almost like turning these two characters who are writers inside out and seeing why they like the fantasy genre, why they like the sci-fi genre, why they prefer this narrative trope, why they prefer that narrative trope. There was just so much there, even beyond just its gameplay, in the way that the gameplay flowed with the narrative. It's just such an amazing game, and the only reason it didn't get nominated is because Donkey Kong's got the name power. And I'm just sorry. Split Fiction in every way does more than Donkey Kong. I think Donkey Kong is a great game. I think as a platformer, it's lots of fun, but like, and this is just my opinion, I don't know if you meant for us to go on these kind of rants so early, Andy, but
no, do it.
Donkey Kong can be solved by a child.
I mean, it is like a kid's game though, right? And that's it appeals to a certain audience, but I see what you're saying. Yeah,
but because it has to be compatible for children, the game design and level design has to be so compatible that they could flail around and still find their way through. Whereas like what Split Fiction does so right, and this is why the first game they did, It Takes Two, was about like a couple on the verge of like divorce, is that in order for the co-op to work, you have to see things from your partner's perspective.
I love that. I haven't played Split Fiction yet, by the way. So like I've seen trailers and things like that, but I really want to play it. That's really interesting. And I think I also do see why it appeals so much to you from a storyteller perspective, right? So that's really neat, man. Do you think Split Fiction specifically should have replaced Donkey Kong on the Game of the Year nominations?
In the spirit, like what we were talking about, how there's a really wide variety of genres there.
Sure.
In the spirit of that, I would replace it with Donkey Kong, but I do think Donkey Kong is Game of the Year worthy.
Sure.
I just think personally, and like we'll get into this, dude, like it just doesn't compare to Expedition 33, and like it's just in another class. There are games nominated this year that are just in another class. I mean, I have my bias. I love turn-based combat, so I have my biases, but I don't know, man. It just I'm not saying Donkey Kong doesn't deserve the nomination. I'm saying if we were going to pick one co-op platformer to have it, it was Split Fictions to have.
Yeah, I think this is kind of around what I expected in terms of Game of the Year nominations. I actually thought Ghost of Yote was going to get a nomination, and I'm not surprised that it didn't, because if it wasn't going to be Ghosts of Yote. I thought it was either going to be Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which it was, or Split Fiction. And so it's kind of like around what I expected. And, I've been playing a little bit of Ghosts of Yote. I put about 10 hours into it so far. And it's good, but like, it does make me just want to play Ghost of Tsushima again, just because I love that story and just Jin so much more. Like gameplay wise, I think Ghost of Yote is better, but it's very samey in a lot of ways for me. So I'm not mad that that's not nominated, mainly because also like that's another game for me that's like, in terms, there's so many great games that came out this year. That one's actually a bit lower for me. So we talked about Split Fiction and Donkey Kong. So do you think Split Fiction, would you say that's like the biggest snub in terms of TGA nominations this year? And what do you think? Because I think there were some other games that got snubbed of other nominations. And I'm curious as to where you land like on Game Award nominations as a whole. So for example, I think Dispatch should have been nominated for Best Narrative. But I think the only reason why it didn't is because I don't think the last 2 episodes were out whenever they, at that time. So I'm curious if you think any other games got snubbed or any other, whatever.
So I want to put my cards on the table in that this was actually a year, and I think a lot of people feel this, this was actually a year I didn't play a whole lot of new games.
Yeah. What did you play this year?
Games. Like I played Expedition 33. I'm going to put my cards on the table. I played Expedition 33. I played Split Fiction. I played Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm trying to think of other TGA nominees. I do have Silk Song. I plan on playing that or starting it before year's end. Yeah, baby. Like, remasters like Tactics. There weren't a lot of new games I sort of dipped myself into this year. So it's hard for me to say exactly who got snubbed because, like I said, my primaries were Expedition 33, Split Fiction, and Donkey Kong. Like I said, I'm going to get into Silk Song and stuff like that, but those are like the 3 big TGA games that I basically played. So as for who got the worst snub, I'm not a good person to ask.
Sure.
But I do think the Split Fiction snub, it
hurts
for me.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah. Sure.
Totally understandable.
Yeah.
It is understandable. It's not a shoo-in the way Expedition 33 was a shoo-in. You know what I mean?
So speaking of that, is Expedition 33 winning Game of the Year? Because, and this is, of course, it's my personal Game of the Year.
Mine too.
And there's been
you're not asking me what my personal Game of the Year is.
Okay. Well, we can get to that as well. But I think it's because there's been at least what's been brewing recently online, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of discourse about Expedition 33. And right now it's weird. It seems like it's kind of like the popular thing to like, I don't want to say hate it right now, but there's just been a lot of discourse surrounding the game. Mainly like not the game itself, but just like the people who are praising it and the people and things like that.
People are mad at 2 kinds of people, and I think in one sense it's a little fair, in other senses it's not fair. I see 2 groups of people, like you're bringing up, sort of being come at about Expedition 33. On one hand, you have people who they've never really played the RPG genre outside of Pokemon. They've never experienced a turn-based RPG with actual combat depth. So this is for a lot of people, this was new because look, let's put our cards on the table. A lot of RPGs, particularly the most popular ones, have a Japanese or Asian aesthetic.
Sure.
There are a lot of people who that aesthetic is just a turn off to them. It just is, regardless of whether it's rational, justified, whatever.
Yeah.
They just don't want an anime aesthetic. They don't want a Japanese aesthetic. It's just not something they're drawn to. Expedition 33, and I praise the heavens for this because I've been asking for this, is an amazing Western RPG.
Yes, yeah.
It is Western. And that's why you have a group who not often engages with this genre is giving it a shot because it's presented in a way, it has an art style that maybe they're more familiar with, more comfortable with, or simply that they just prefer. So you have people who they're like, oh, this revolutionized the genre. And then there's people like you and I who have played turn-based combat who go, all right, look, I wouldn't say it revolutionized anything, but it did do a lot of things incredibly right. Like, like it hit all the notes. It's not that it revolutionized the gameplay in any way. It really, we've had parries in turn-based combat. We've had dodge mechanics in turn-based combat. None of that was new. Again, if you only experienced Pokemon as your turn-based combat, then sure. But, and for a lot of Western gamers, that is the extent of which they've experienced turn-based combat. Or maybe an old Final Fantasy they played when they were young. So to play this for that kind of gamer was a revolutionary experience. Was it revolutionary to the genre? No. But for people who are unfamiliar with the genre, it absolutely is a revolutionary experience. And I saw you put out a tweet that said we should be welcoming these people into the world of RPGs. Is it annoying that they think this is the first good turn-based game in 20 years? Yes, it's annoying.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Welcome to the internet, all right?
Right.
Like you're saying, these are people who should be welcomed into the genre. So I see those people getting a lot of heat just because they don't have RPG history knowledge. The other kind of person I see getting hate that I don't think is fair is old school Final Fantasy fans who've wanted a game like this for a long time. I'm
since like Final Fantasy X, you know?
Yeah, and I'll say his name's Sebby Webbs. He's the guy making all the waves out there. He's got criticisms I agree with. He's got criticisms I don't agree with.
I'm the same way. I
think it's smart for people to write him off as like, oh, he's the boomer Final Fantasy fan. Newsflash. They did a study in Japan. The average Final Fantasy
42 years old? Or 40 years old. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Really represents what the average Final Fantasy player is. And when he's saying fans like him have been waiting for a combat system like that since FF10, he's not wrong. As someone who loves the action games, the remake, the rebirth, the 16, even the MMO FF14, as someone who loves that
biggest FF14 fan you'll ever see right here, by the way. Right here.
But here's the thing. He's right. Even fans like me still love this series and are still knee-deep in it. We have been waiting for that turn-based, something to level up the FF10 experience. And I see people writing that off as boomer Final Fantasy fan, and I don't think it's accurate. I think what he represents, just that hunger for what an older feeling Final Fantasy, primarily turn-based, I think that's a very real thing, and I think it's a big reason Expedition 33 was so successful. Yes, the Final Fantasy, if it was actually good joke, is annoying, okay? There's a validity to the group of people I think that guy and his content represents. You know? And again, I have my disagreements. I could, if I want to air those out, I can invite him on my show. But the point being, the fact there was a 20-year hunger for a turn-based combat like this from Final Fantasy fans is not BS. It's not.
I mean, and I think that shows from how successful it was. It's now up to 5 million copies sold. And keep in mind, this is a very small development team, and so there's this weird tribalism, I feel like, that has been circulating on both sides of the coin, right? Like one side where it's like, it's the people who are like, oh, you've never played an RPG before. Well, and then it's people, it's people who are ragging on these people who maybe they've never played an RPG or haven't in 20 years. And it's like, why do you have to be so gatekeepy elitist about it? We should be welcoming these people because RPGs it's such a fun and a dynamic genre. But then there's also this tribalism on the other side of well, you're a boomer, you need to change, we're the for the lack of a better term, the liberal, young, we're embracing the new, and you can stick with your boomer Final Fantasy over there, and we're just gonna keep you out of our conversation. It's just weird, strange discourse that especially over the last week that's been happening. around this game, and I don't like it because it's like, Sandfall is they're so humble. These guys are so humble. They're such a great team, and I also think that I wouldn't say that Expedition 33 revolutionized the gaming industry, but it definitely put a dent in I would say, well, yeah, go for it.
I think it did revolutionize the industry,
Okay.
not RPG.
Yes.
If you don't think
Yes.
all the cuts happening at these big studios is not a result of the game of the year being made by 33
Yes.
people,
Yes.
you're not paying attention.
Yes, and well, because I think that's what I meant to say was like, yeah, I don't think it's like I don't think the game itself is like revolutionary, but because that this group of 33 people that made this AA title in 5 years and just completely put the AAA gaming industry to shame, like they embarrassed the gaming in like the big dogs, the top dogs, embarrass them. It's like you put a group of passionate people together, and it doesn't have to be a lot, and Sandfall has proven this, who just want to make a game that they've always wanted to make, that they've always wanted to play. And you can, if you play this game, you can see the heart and the soul oozing out of this game, right? And I don't want this to just be an Expedition 33 podcast, but we do have to talk about it because it's the talk of the town. Yes, and so I want to ask you, why is Expedition 33 your personal game of the year? One.
Okay, so
for the first thing. Yes.
It was the most fun I've had with a new game all year. Bottom line, of all the new games I played this year, I think it told the best story.
Yes.
I think it had the best gameplay. I think it had the best soundtrack. Like, I could just keep going. I know. And here's the thing. I've been very critical of Expedition 33, but at the same time, I can't help but glaze it because outside of my criticisms, it's almost perfect.
I agree.
Like, literally, like, and don't get me wrong, there's stories I like better, there are characters I like better, but execution matters. And the truth is, like, everything in the game was executed so well. My one standing criticism is that there weren't enough towns and hubs and villages and culture. But that's my personal preference.
Yeah.
That might be Mr. Anime RPG fan talking, but Western RPG fan doesn't really care about that. Gestural Village is enough. So that's just my personal bias.
Yeah, and you made a video about that too recently, talking about that as well. Because like I do agree, like, because you really only have Lumiere and the Gestural Village, and like that's kind of it for towns. Like if you want to count, I don't remember what the place is called where you actually get Minoko in your party, but like there's like NPCs you can talk to there, and then there's merchants scattered throughout the world. But I think like for their next game, like, yeah, more towns would be great. And I get why it wasn't, because it's post-apocalyptic, it's a canvas, I get why.
Small team too. They had to rein it in a little.
Yeah, and I think too, like so Expedition 33 is also my personal game of the year, and I think like my really only criticism was like the Act 3 pacing, and that it more so that I just wanted, I think what I would have liked is like, I think instead of just being able, like, so I love the fact that you have the ability to fly, right? You've got the high wind, right? You can just go anywhere, and there's all these other places that are now unlocked and all these super bosses and all this optional content that's unlocked. But I do wish some of that was integrated into the main story instead of just being able to just go to Lumiere, for the final battle. Like I wish that like even some of the confidant side quests with like some of these characters were actually just integrated into like the main story experience, like the whole thing with like Alicia, and like that whole thing in Act 3 and just, some of that stuff. I just think that, but that's really my only criticism. Like I have like no other criticisms. I thought Act 1 was pretty much perfect. I thought Act 2 had an amazing twist and it was pretty much perfect. Like that's, even with the criticism that I have, to me personally, it's still a 10 out of 10 game, and this is another thing that people were kind of like up in arms about, is the actors nominated for best performance. Half of them are from Expedition 33. Me personally,
I don't care. Call it biased.
Yeah.
Deserved.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's my thing. It should have been 4. Andy Serkis should have been on there, I think. I think Andy Serkis should have been on there. I think, and it's funny because it's really just like decide the fate of the canvas. Is it Ben Starr or is it Jennifer English getting it? I think that's who it's going to be between, personally. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure Troy Baker did a phenomenal job as Indiana Jones. Haven't played it, but I know he's a phenomenal actor. He's done phenomenal work. But I really hope one of those two takes it. And I think it's going to be between those two because honestly, and not even just those two, but the voice cast in that game is incredible. Like the way that they make you care and get invested in those characters and the range that those actors express, it should go to one of them, even if it is Charlie Cox, who does a great job as Gustav. Yeah, I mean, and I think the appeal of the characters is because of how so well they were brought to life by these voice actors,
I would agree. I fully expect one of them to win. I have to be honest.
Me
I
too.
agree with you. And I'll tell you another reason, my actual primary reason why I'm going to give this Game of the Year is because it accomplished something, and you can go through years of my content, and I promise you, this is a consistent position I have. What it accomplished is all I've been asking the gaming industry to do for years. One of the reasons Expedition 33 is such a success is because, let's remember, Sandfall is a studio from France. And do you know what? Expedition 33 is so unapologetically French.
Yeah.
And I think that adds to its charm.
Yes.
It's writing what you know. It's sharing a piece of your culture with the world. This is what I love about video games and why I primarily loved playing games from overseas is because, you play a game made in Japan, in a way it feels like you visited Japan. When you play a game made from France, you're getting a piece of France. You're experiencing France in a way when you go to Lumiere and you see those outfits and you see it's almost like a way of traveling the world from your living room because you're experiencing these games which are stories and experiences that are coming from cultures different than yours. We're over here in America. France is different than America. Japan is different than America.
Yes.
Korea is different than America. And all I'm asking, whether the game is made in Texas or California or France or Japan or Korea or China, I want them to be unapologetically what they are. And listen to me. Even if it's just my opinion, the numbers speak for themselves. The games that are doing this are succeeding at a level much more than than, for example, Black Myth Wukong.
I was just thinking about it.
Chinese.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Chinese culture after playing Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah.
33, unapologetically
French. Yes.
Celebrate unapologetically Korean.
Yeah.
This is why, with everything happening at Square Enix, I'm very sad for anyone who lost their job. But the fact that Square Enix is focusing on being more Japanese, what Expedition 33 did, not just with the amount of developers on that game, but just being unapologetically yourself, that's their impact. That's their impact. Okay, I'm sorry. It's like I say, Square tried, not to make this too much about Square, but it's a big part of my niche.
Sure.
But they tried to westernize, dude, and it didn't work.
Yep.
And let me ask you, Andy Brew, you're in France. Are you going to eat? Let me do it a different way.
Okay.
Let me do it a different way. You're in
Roll
Italy.
up the sleeve. Yeah.
Roll up the sleeve. You're in Italy. Are you going to order spaghetti or ramen?
Oh, I'm getting spaghetti.
You're in Tokyo. Are you going to order spaghetti or ramen?
I'm getting ramen.
Right. So when I buy a Japanese game from Japan, I don't want freaking spaghetti.
Yeah.
I want ramen. And Sandfall and Expedition 33 understood that, and that's why they won.
Yes.
That's why they deserve it, because they didn't just make the best game of the year. They impacted the industry more than anyone has in the last decade. I mean that. In the last decade. No, I don't know, man. You're asking me why it's my game of the year. There's too many reasons.
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we can go on as long as you want, man. I think, I think Expedition 33 it's not just my game of the year. I think it's going to get game of the year. And I will say, I will be surprised if it doesn't, but I won't be disappointed. I'll be surprised if it doesn't because of just the success of it and just from what people were saying. But I won't be disappointed because there's a lot of great games on here. If Expedition 33 doesn't get it, I think it should go to Silksong personally. And, I've been hearing the buzz about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Haven't played it, but I really do want to check it out.
Can we talk about Silksong for a second?
Absolutely.
Since we're talking like industry impact?
Yeah, because that's another. And here's the other thing, too. We've got not one, not two, but 3 indie games nominated for Game of the Year.
Who called it?
This guy right here.
Who told you all indies were the future?
Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
Budgets, and I saw every big company's financials were in ruin. I was like, the indies are coming. The indies are coming, and they're here, baby. They're here, and they're better than you. They're better. They beat you. They beat you.
Yeah.
And thank God, because someone needed to step up the game around here. And I'm like, and just speaking of Silksong, bro, Shadow Drop, $20, no review copies, no nothing, just a video game. Like, just a video game.
Which, by the way,
doesn't need to be $80.
$20 is a steal for that game. I'm 40 hours in, and I'm not even done, dude. It's a steal for how good it is. It's a steal for how good it is. So,
taking it up.
Okay, so now, how do you feel? Because Expedition 33 now is the most nominated game at the Game Awards of all time. It has 12 nominations, which is crazy. How do you feel about the idea that Expedition 33 could sweep so many of these awards? Yeah.
I want to comment on this. Not to take anything away from Expedition 33.
Absolutely.
The reason it's the most nominated of all time is because this was an incredibly weak year for gaming, and particularly AAA gaming, which is often the highlight of the Game Awards. Like you brought up the Indiana Jones game. Usually that's a Game of the Year nomination that has no business being.
But no one's talking about it. And then also the same vein of like, and this game is nominated, but like Death Stranding 2, dude, I didn't even know that game came out. Like, I don't, and maybe that's just my side of the algorithm. Maybe it's because I'm in my, my RPG, JRPG, indie bubble over here. But it's like, there's just some games where I'm like, I don't even hear. And to be honest, like, I do think it was a solid year for gaming. Like, there's a lot of great games that came out. Elden Ring, Night Rain, Ghost of Yote so far is pretty good. Donkey Kong, Split Fiction, Hades, Kingdom Come. Like, it's been Liza P. Overture, DLC. Like, it's been a great year, but in terms of like you said, AAA gaming, it's been kind of just like, it's been kind of whatever, right? Monster Hunter Wilds is another one. I love that game. I put 120 hours in the Monster Hunter, but like, it's only nominated for one category, and that was to be expected, for me personally. So yeah, I'm curious as to what you think about the idea that Expedition 33 might just sweep all of these.
Again, I think it would earn it. Personally, this might bias, but I think it would earn it. But again, like, look, the beauty of this industry now is even in a weak year, you still have a lot of great games to play.
Agreed.
But when I look around, I feel like a lot of like good games came out, but not a lot of these titans. Right? Like you said, even Death Stranding 2 didn't seem to have a super huge impact, but we know how much Jeff loves Kojima.
Exactly.
I half expect Death Stranding 2 to win, by the way. That's why.
Right.
33 win. I gotta be honest. I'm starting to think no. I think they'll get 11. I think they'll win 11 out of 12, Andy. I think they'll win 11
but
out
you
of
don't,
12.
but yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because if Expedition 33 wins, everyone goes to sleep. If it doesn't win, people will be tweeting about it.
Oh, for sure.
So
yeah,
I just think they might choose to pull that just because it would get. But I feel it might also hurt their credibility. But
Sure. It's like because you give them all these other awards, but then it's like they don't get Game of the Year, right? So, right, exactly. I think the only thing I'm a little bit bummed about, right, is, and don't get me wrong, like, it's an indie game. Yeah, it should get best indie game, but like, man, like there were some good indies that came out this year. I would feel, and this is probably going to happen. It's probably going to get best independent and best debut indie, right? And it's just like, again, I'm happy for Expedition 33 getting all these awards and recognition, but it's like, man, like, dude, Silksong came out this year. Blueprints, I don't know if you know anything about that game. Delicia and I have been playing that in our free time. Dude, that game is great, man. It's like a roguelike escape room, is how I describe it. It's addicting, dude. Like, and I'm like, man, like this game was really good. I'm happy that it got a couple nominations. That's a win for me. But it does make me a little bit sad that it's like, oh man, like, like I hope it takes best debut indie over Expedition 33, but it won't, but it got a nomination. That's good enough for me. I think that's the only thing that I'm a little bit sad about. I was like, man, like there were some other good games that came out that I feel like are going to get overshadowed by Expedition 33. But if there's any game in any year that were to sweep any award, any TGA, it's going to be Expedition 33, in my opinion. So, I want to ask you, because like we were kind of talking about earlier, you have been very critical of the Game Awards as an award show in general. You've been critical of Jeff Keighley as well, and just like how they run things at the Game Awards, whether that's certain games that they show, whether that's like production, whatever it is. So, what are some of those criticisms, and what can the Game Awards do better to just make it a better like award show experience, I guess?
That's a good question, because here's the thing. It calls itself an award show, but it's not. Like, the reason we all watch is for trailers, is for announcements, whatever it may be. That's the real reason most people are tuning into the Game Awards, is to see what will be announced and to see what wins Game of the Year.
Sure,
that's
absolutely
the primary reasons people tune in. Now, I don't necessarily think that's an issue. Like,
sure,
it's cool having an event where new things are announced, but like you're saying, how can they level up as an award show? So here's my criticisms are with the presentation. It's presented like the Oscars, which is stupid. It is stupid. Gaming is not suit and tie. Gaming is not like a tight red glittery dress. I want cosplayers on the stage.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what I want on the stage. I want more of that. The kind of things you see at like the more niche conventions you go to. That's what I want to see on there. Gaming is not suit and tie. Gaming is not a ruby red dress that glitters and glistens. Like, we're dorks. We're nerds. We're the that's what I want to see from the presentation of
yes.
Is I look at it and it looks like, quote unquote, my people.
Yeah,
Not
right.
Oscars wannabe. Because I'm telling you right now, you'll never be the Oscars. The gaming industry, you will never be accepted by Hollywood. They will always tip their nose up at you. The mainstream is always going to look down on you as children's entertainment. You will not win them over, Jeff Keighley. You will not win them over. Another thing he does that I'm always critical of, he invites Hollywood to the event.
Yeah.
Okay? Whether it's Al Pacino, who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, whether it's Snoop Dogg, who's going to show up and say, yeah, me and my son are making a game. Let me perform at the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley.
Right.
So Jeff lets him perform. By the way, it's been a year. Any update on that game, Snoop?
Yeah.
Any update on that game? Or Jeff, were you just a gullible pawn that believed Snoop Dogg when he said, we're working on a game, let me perform at your event? You got played, Jeff. You got played because you keep going to these people who aren't gamers. Like, I forgot who else was on the stage that had no idea what he was talking about. Like, Anthony Mackie showed up one year absolutely hammered, right? Because there's no respect for your event, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hollywood doesn't respect you and doesn't respect this event. They see it as a PR event to sell tickets. They're using you. So what I want to see Hollywood gone from here. I don't want to
Yeah.
see advertisements for movies, right? 1 year, Game Awards ended where they announced the final announcement. The anchor announcement was a Matrix game nobody played. Why? Because it was Hollywood.
Right.
That's what I want gone. I want it gone. I don't want to see it. I want, what's his name? The voice for Kratos on stage.
Christopher
His
Judge.
speech going too long.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's
Yes.
like, you know what I mean? That raw kind of, we're not that formal.
Yeah.
Informal. That's what I want to see. On top of that, don't push freaking Shigeru Miyamoto off stage.
Right.
Please wrap it up.
Right.
No. Tell Pacino to wrap it up. Tell Mackie to wrap it up. Tell Snoop Dogg to wrap it up. Miyamoto's the guy that you say, hey, listen, sir, however long you want to speak.
Yes.
We're gonna adjust the event around you. Don't worry. That's who gets the respect, Jeff. That's who gets your respect at this event. Miyamoto, not Pacino, not Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
No. So that's in the presentation of it all is my issue. Announcing new games, perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Giving away stupid little awards that we all know means nothing, perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But this appeal to Hollywood, this appeal to the mainstream, it all feels so like how do I put this, man? Like any gamer worth their salt gave up on being accepted a long time ago. Okay? We're Kingdom Hearts fans. We accepted that people were going to think that's cringy. We accepted
sure.
that people were going to think that was like dorky. Same goes for Final Fantasy. Same goes for, Elden Ring. Same goes for Genshin Impact. Doesn't matter what flavor of game you like. The truth is, if it's not Call of Duty or Madden, people are going to think you're a dork.
Yeah.
And last time I checked, Call of Duty and Madden are not who's tuning into the Game Awards. It's the dorks.
Oh,
and
for
there
sure.
For the dorky announcements, for our dorky games. So
Yeah.
please, Jeff, can you present the industry like the lovable dorks that we are and stop appealing to the mainstream, stop appealing to Hollywood, stop appealing to people who don't care. And I'm sorry, this is me ironing out my own BS and spilling my own
iron it
tea.
out.
Okay, man. Look, I hate that when I browse on LinkedIn, I see people from high school who didn't play video games who somehow got into the gaming industry. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how it happens. But those are the things guys like me want to see go away.
Yeah.
Bring on the dorks. Bring on the wizards. Bring in the witches.
Yeah.
Okay? Let the nobles enjoy their cinema.
Yeah.
Okay? Bring in the wizards and the witches and the hobbits and the dorks in to play the games.
Yeah.
That's that. I'll leave it at that.
I 100% agree with you because I feel like and to be honest, I think I can't even remember all the stuff that was even at the Game Awards last year, but last year I thought was one of their more solid shows. It was their 10-year anniversary, to be fair, but it was solid. And I agree with you. It's like this appeal to like Hollywood. It's like they don't care. They don't care at all. Like get Umatsu up there to like present best soundtrack, right? Or something like that. Get some of these people who are in the industry to they have people like that, but I'm like, we don't need anybody from Hollywood, right? We don't need anybody. And so I think yes, right. Like we need people like that. And I think like, I agree with you, like, because that's a big criticism for me. I think also too, like, I wish they would spend a little more time, giving some of these people, like, because a lot of the awards they just kind of like breeze through. It's like the winner for this, X, Y, and Z. The winner for this.
For Snoop Dogg, Andy. Also, we can make time for Snoop Dogg.
It's like I want to hear people talk about like I want to hear people talk about like how what this award means to them. And it's like even like best multiplayer game. Like I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, bro, but like dude, if Marvel Rivals wins that, I want to hear those devs talk about it, right? It's just things like that. I'm like, I wish they would just give the people who are there, for like, instead of just being like, okay, like you won, moving on. I wish we had more time to like, I don't want to even say more time. I wish you just cut out some of the other extra fluff and give more time for these people to actually, talk about their game or talk about their experience and talk about how much the award means to them. And then also, I mean, you can, and I get maybe you can't get like certain games to show up as like a world premiere at the Game Awards, but like, you could make room for potentially more world premieres or more trailers. I know there's a lot of devs out there who really probably want to show off their games. And I feel like some of them may, and again, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I can't speak for what the work that Jeff does behind the scenes, but I'd like to imagine there probably are a lot of devs out there who, they don't get their opportunity to actually show off their games at an award show like this.
Yeah, it feels like you want to feel like the event serves the industry, right? You want to feel like the industry is being served, not that we're serving others, not that we're serving Hollywood or serving a Sony soundtrack, not that we want it to be something that allows like we're all tuning in because we're gamers, that allows it to grow, flourish. They had some guy last year that said that like. And that's the other thing too, is they got to do more background checks on these people, because like there was that guy last year who came in and said he made like a website to help people find jobs in the games industry.
Yeah.
But like that was only like half true, and like
right,
like little things like that where, like you were saying, bring Uematsu to be like, here's the soundtrack of the year. Call up Sakaguchi, the father of Final Fantasy, to talk about best RPG. What it was like releasing Final Fantasy based on a tabletop RPG onto a digital, what that was like to take D&D and bring it into the digital world. You know what I mean? Like, do stuff like that, and maybe even more musical performances. Like, why does it always have to be that big medley at the end?
Yeah, and I love the medley. I think it's one of my favorite parts about the award show, but I agree, like, because there's so many. And this year too, like, Expedition 33, I think, is most likely going to get best soundtrack, mainly because also, like, dude, they found this guy on SoundCloud and he created like 800 tracks for the game or whatever, something like that, or like 8 hours, it's like, and absolutely crushed it. But like, dude, Silk Song soundtrack is amazing, dude. Like the choral chambers. Music to my ear. I mean, yeah, it's obviously music to my ears. It's music. But like, dude, like, Silk Song has a great soundtrack. Like, there's so many games that have a really good soundtrack. Even like Ghosts of Yotei, And I think like, yeah, I would love to see just more, less Hollywood performances, right? And more just like, let's just play some music from some of the games that came out this year. And not just have it just be the medley. Even though that is a really cool part about the Game Awards.
Well, especially because like the medley is usually very orchestra focused.
Yes.
Like it's an orchestra experience. Whereas there's a lot of games that drop like rock songs and like electronic dance songs and stuff. Like there's a lot of different genres that drop outside of, again, this is sort of like that appeal to Hollywood where the Oscars does like a similar thing where the orchestras do like a medley of all the scores and stuff. But it's like, you don't have to just do that. Like bring, like when Footfalls came out for FF14, why the hell wasn't that like live rock? Like you could do a live rock concert at the
Yeah.
Instead of Snoop Dogg not developing a game, he's not performing a song from a game.
Yeah.
Like
nobody and to be honest, like what you're saying is like, and I'm with you. Anybody watching the Game Awards, no one's gonna care about a Snoop Dogg performance. Now, I would love to see like something from FF14 or something from I feel like there's going to be something from Expedition 33 there. I feel like there's going to be, but like I would love to see like something like that, like when Kingdom Hearts 4 eventually comes out. Like let's get, or like FF7 Part 3. Like nobody who it really cares to listen to Snoop Dogg perform, So I'm
tuned in for that.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on that.
It's not like he's like some like big part of like the gaming industry or gaming culture.
Right.
Like, right. It's not like, for instance, you can give a little leeway to like a Jack Black.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Who, like,
Absolutely.
he's one of us. Like,
Yes.
I won't often say that about a Hollywood guy, but
Yes.
like, that guy plays these games.
Yes, he
You know what I
does.
mean? Like, it's one thing when you have someone like that, or like a Henry Cavill, who, like, you know, the videos of him building monster gaming PCs.
Yes.
You know, if you want someone like that, you know what I mean? So if you have to include Hollywood so you can sell to advertisers, sure.
Yes.
Okay, fine. But get the voice actors from the Mario movie then.
Yes.
You know?
Sure.
Maybe wow, imagine Link and Zelda. The actors playing them showed up to this year's Game Awards.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
You know, and we're here to drop a trailer. Like, who knows? Like, that's what we want to see. When you bring on this personnel, just bring on someone relevant to what we enjoy.
Yeah. I agree with you. I do want to move on to you're talking about, like, okay, reveal trailers and things like that and like what we can see here, but there is something I want to touch on because, you know, you're very heavily Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is my favorite franchise of all time. There was some, and to be honest, I don't even know if it was a joke or not, but you know, there was some people on the internet that were very upset that Kingdom Hearts 4 was not nominated for the most anticipated game of 2026. So I just want to hear your thoughts on that, of like, because that's just something that I've seen going around. And I feel like it's and he's gone. You know, you're a big Kingdom Hearts. You're big on Kingdom Hearts. That's like the heart of your channel. No pun intended. It's my favorite franchise of all time. There's Discord. There's talk going on about it, and it's a very small, loud minority. I just want to hear your thoughts about it because, again, you think it's silly. I see it on the expression of your beanie. You think it's silly. I think it's silly. I just want to hear what you have to say about that in general.
Okay. So,
because here's what I have to say. If you're going to adorn the clown makeup, do not get upset and be surprised when people call you a clown.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. If you're going to be a clown, dance.
Yeah, okay? Right. Yes.
And squeak. All right. But let's get into this. So you are right. Your assessment is correct. Kingdom Hearts is the biggest draw on my channel. It's the biggest draw. There seem to be ideas I share about Kingdom Hearts that resonate with people more than some of the other things I talk about. However, for reasons like you brought up, over the last year or two, I've been branching out into a lot of other series. And that's particularly because all these other fan bases that I have the pleasure of making a lot of this stuff for, whether it's the Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy fan base, whether it's those, you know, the handful of Soul Calibur fans out there that still have hope, whether it's, you know, now these Octopath fans that have been coming into my channel over the last couple of videos, stuff like that. It's like, how do I put this? Every other franchise, if they don't have something new, they're enjoying what they have. And then when something new shows up, they get happy. Right?
Sure. Absolutely.
Andy, you and I weren't going into every event like, oh, the next Octopath. Oh, the next Octopath.
Oh, no, yeah. Dude, I am pleasantly surprised. Like, I was not expecting a new Octopath game. Like, lower budget, by the way. But still, it's a new game. Like, 2 years after Octopath 2. Oh, I was over the moon. Over the moon about it.
Again, because, you know what? When you're an Octopath fan, you understood that 1 and 2 might have been all you ever got because Square Enix started downsizing.
Yeah.
So you learned to love and cherish what you have. And then when the new game gets dropped on you, there's a reason everybody freaked out. And frankly, I think the Kingdom Hearts fans were a little jealous.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Now let me say this. I love Kingdom Hearts, and I love Kingdom Hearts fans, particularly the sickos in my chat. The sickos and normies in my chat, they get it. They're not waiting on bated breath. They're not complaining every time we don't get it. My homies, they get it. That said, Kingdom Hearts is niche, okay?
Yes.
For most anticipated games.
It's still niche.
Sorry, guys. It's not the most anticipated. It's a niche game. It's a niche series. We are a niche fan base, and frankly, you should want it to stay that way. Frankly,
Thank you.
should want us to stay an underground punk niche dorky freaking thing over there. You don't want the smoke. You don't want to be front and center, main stage. It's not. It wouldn't be good for Kingdom Hearts. Is just my opinion. So
Yeah,
to the
and
idea
it's
that
not.
this was,
Yeah.
the game without a release date, the game without a release date, the game without a release window that just had a mobile game canceled. You think that's going to be the most anticipated for 2026?
Right.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
It's a niche game, niche series that is behind the curtain right now. Like, it couldn't be more away. Kingdom Hearts could not be more gone.
Right.
I don't even saying that to be like rude or mean, but you know, it's like The Sopranos. It's like find a new show. Like,
Yeah.
like Kingdom Hearts will come back. That's my message to Kingdom Hearts fans. I promise you, Kingdom Hearts is coming back.
Of course.
But the more you hold on to it, the longer that wait's gonna feel. And it's going to be painful. And I'm starting to feel that. I guess that's part of why I've started to branch out more. Like, I always branched out into, like, Final Fantasy and other things.
Of course.
But it's that I just feel like the series conversation is now possessed by when's the next trailer? When's the next trailer? That's all that's left. And what's a shame about that is that, and, you know, my channel's an example of this. We went on for years talking about things that happened in the past. Previous games, previous stories, and there's still things to talk about and analyze. But unfortunately, it feels like the online fan base, which is different than the normal fan base, is like addicted to hype, next announcement, next trailer when. Like, it feels like that's what people are addicted to.
Yes.
And it's a feeling I don't really like, because I don't like feeling like I don't like feeling like I don't have.
Right.
And when everyone's complaining about and like you're saying, like, enough with the clown makeup. This is worse. You're not clowns anymore. You're
Right.
all in straitjackets and padded rooms. The clown makeup is over.
Yeah.
No, clown makeup is for folks like Andy and I, who truly expect Kingdom Hearts to not be there. But we'll let
100%.
our hopes get up a little bit. We're the clowns.
Yeah.
The rest of y'all are in straitjackets. Where's my game? Like, let it go.
Yeah.
There's like 13 Kingdom Hearts games. You
There's
can
so
go
many
play.
Kingdom Hearts games. And I
I
think...
just want to say one thing.
Sure.
The reason
Yeah.
why I'm so animated and frustrated is because I love Kingdom Hearts so much. I replayed 1 Chain of Memories and 2 this year alone, and I had such a freaking blast.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
it was so much fun.
Like, treasure
And
what you have, you know? And it's still there, and it's not going anywhere. Yeah.
it still exists.
And
It's still there.
I think too, like, so whenever you said like Kingdom Hearts should stay niche, I know you're hard on this too. That's not you gatekeeping Kingdom Hearts. Like, we want people to experience Kingdom Hearts more and more, and I think because, like, you know, the Keyblade showing up as a cameo in like a Disney short does not make Kingdom Hearts mainstream. It doesn't, you know. And I think, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3 being, you know, the best-selling Kingdom Hearts game of all time, I think Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts fans got a little taste of what it's like to be, you know, I'm not going to say it got a little bit mainstream, but, like, you know, it's kind of like peeking its way into popularity, you know, in a sense, but it's still niche. And I think it should stay niche, not in the sense that, like, I don't want anybody to play this game. No, I want people to play Kingdom Hearts, but in the sense that, like, if it is niche, so, like, Octopath is very niche. Another example, The World Ends With You, more niche than Octopath, right? Because it's niche, we appreciate it so much more, and we value so much more what we have. When it becomes like this mainstream thing, like we're always asking, even before Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced, what's Kingdom Hearts 4? What's Kingdom Hearts? You know, it's like, or whatever. So it's like, I agree with you, right? You know, and I think, like, it's, you know, dude, and it's a loud minority of people on the internet, but these people who are, like, literally eating themselves away because there's no Kingdom Hearts 4 news, you're delusional. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you are. And so I think I agree with you. And I think we will value the series so much more if, we don't try to elevate it to, the heights of mainstream media, like what I feel like Kingdom Hearts, like the loud minority are trying to do. So on the topic of I'm not expecting to see Kingdom Hearts at the Game Awards, right? But is there, are you expecting to see certain things here? Are you looking forward to seeing certain things here? Do you think Kingdom Hearts is going to show up? Do you think FF7 Part 3 is going to show up? What do you think you could see, and what would you like to see?
Okay. I'll start with something I've sort of been grappling with. So I thought there was a chance we could maybe see FF7 Part 3. But the more I thought about it, the more I said, do they really want to distract from that Switch 2 release? It's a fine line, right? It's like, would announcing Part 3 make that Switch 2 release more hype, or would it just distract people away from it?
Because I'm sure Square Enix is going to have something here, right?
I think Square has something. I think what I'm getting at is I actually don't think it's going to be FF7 Part 3 because I think they want to save that hype around remake on Switch 2. That's their big thing. A big part, because this is a big thing for Square. Square's business model for surviving the 21st century is they need to attract Nintendo's console base. They need to.
They need to just be more multi-platform off the bat. Right.
Right. And I'm even saying PC won't be enough. They need Nintendo's consoles player base.
Yes.
So I think that's a major focus for them.
Right.
So in a weird way, that does open the door for another series to maybe get an announcement. I think Square absolutely is going to drop something because, even though a lot of people like myself like the idea of Square becoming more Japanese again, the truth is layoffs are never good press.
Right.
Layoffs are never good press. And I think that company desperately needs to. And the good news is Octopath drops before the Game Awards, so technically that gives them what they need.
Sure.
A new story, per se. But I do think Square needs to show in good faith that all this restructuring, all this downsizing, all these cuts, all this consolidation, I think they're in a position where they almost desperately need to show that it's going to be worth it. Yeah. They have to demonstrate, all right, look, we did what we did, but Dragon Quest 12 is finally here. Here's the trailer you were all waiting for.
Right.
But here's Kingdom Hearts 4, or here's whatever it is. I'm not trying to get people's hopes up for it.
Sure.
All I'm saying is I think the FF7 obstacle is removed. I think with that being something they focus on a lot, I don't see it. I don't see it getting an announcement. I used to, but I think they're going to want to do that. They're going to want to focus on remake on Switch too. If Square Enix gives us anything, I think it's more likely to be a Dragon Quest or perhaps a Final Fantasy IX remake that everyone.
I was going to ask because that has been literally rumored for so long, and I'm at the point where I'm starting to think I don't even know if it's real anymore. But I would love it to be real. I think they are going to show something. What about like a new Nier?
Oh, I don't know if you saw
Yoko
Taro letting people know that he's not working. Just everything he's been working on is getting canceled. I'll say this: anything that gets announced has been worked on for years. I don't think Square Enix of yesterday had the balls to make another Nier game. I think the Square Enix of today might. That said, it's important for people to remember Yoko Taro is not a Square Enix employee. He's an independent contractor. In that sense, I think the next Yoko Taro game will come out of Shift Up. That's my prediction.
He's a big fan of Stellar Blade. That would be awesome. Yeah.
They modeled they almost anyway. What do I expect? I mean, I think I think it is possible we get like an FF9 remake. I think we might see a new fighting game. I think the fighting game I think the fighting game community has to make noise. Maybe it's not a new game. Maybe it's a lot of new characters.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like there's always like a fighting game presence at these shows. I know Tokon, I think, is coming out next year. There's that new Avatar fighting game that looks really good. But what else could they show? What else could they show? Soul Calibur 7, right? How many Soul Caliburs are there? Are there 6 or 7?
So there's 6 mainline titles, but there's a few spin-offs decorated around that.
That would be, I doubt that's going to happen, but imagine. Because I know you're a big Soul Calibur guy.
I feel the same way I think the Bandai Namco of today doesn't have the balls. I don't think they have the balls to do it. It's why Dead or Alive won't get made again. I just don't.
Sure.
I don't think they have the balls right now. I think things are changing. Right? We're starting to see that. We've talked about that earlier in the episode. The French are going to be more French. The Japanese are going to be more Japanese. The Koreans are going to be more Korean in terms of what they're creating and what they're offering. So I think now we're moving into an age where a Soul Calibur or a Dead or Alive can be made. But I just don't think Bandai Namco has the balls right now.
Yeah, I mean they're making bank off of Souls games, or with FromSoft. So it's I honestly think we're gonna get a Duskblood trailer. That's that Souls game coming to the Switch 2 next year. Yeah, I don't want to say I think. I would like to see that. I'd like to see a release date for a game like Phantom Blade Zero. Another Wolverine trailer would be great, but we just kind of got one, so it's I'm not expecting it. Code Vein 2 comes out in January. That's also Bandai Namco. I don't know. I'm kind of in that, these Game Awards and Summer Games Fest and all the Jeff Keighley stuff and State of Plays and all that. I'm kind of just there for the ride, right? I'm just okay, what I want to see? It's always things that are never going to happen. Where's Sly 5? That's never happening, right? Where's Spyro 4? That has more of a likelihood, but it's unlikely, right? At least right now. It's things like that. So that's why I'm just I'm just here for the ride. The only thing that I ever wanted out of a Nintendo Direct for the longest time was a Thousand Year Door remake on Switch. And then it happened and I'm I don't care what they put out at these Nintendo Directs. I'm here for the ride, right? What about
the right attitude.
Yeah.
That's the right attitude, because I feel like when you go into these events and you have a specific title you're looking for, you're almost cheating yourself out of new experiences.
Yeah.
I think when you go into these things looking for the thing, I don't know. It's
I agree.
These showcase, dude, just don't watch the Game Awards then, and just wait till the show's over. And if they dropped what you wanted, okay, you watched it 30 minutes after it released. You didn't see it the moment it dropped.
Right.
Oh no. But I want to see, I don't know. I just want to see new stuff. Show me something I don't even know I want. That's actually what I'm there for.
Yes.
Show me
yes.
I don't know what I want.
Yes.
I don't need a trailer to convince me to get Kingdom Hearts 4. They could shadow drop it tomorrow. I'm day one. I don't really need a trailer to buy FF7.3.
You're going to get it.
Buy it. I don't need that. What I do need is a trailer that maybe gets me into a new MMO. Or a trailer into a new fighting game.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
I need this fighting game itch scratched. I don't care who scratches it, but someone better have a damn good back scratcher or I'm pissed. I'm not gonna go in there. I specifically need Soul Calibur 7. I need to make sure that my name are in the launch
Give me
title.
something that I didn't realize I wanted. And I felt that way with certain games that have come out that have been reviewed. I'm wow. And then I end up, guess what? I end up getting that game and I end up enjoying the heck out of it. And I'm not thinking about Kingdom Hearts and I'm not thinking about whatever. What about a Persona 6? Right? That was, I'm just
I don't think we see it till that Persona 4 remake.
Yeah, I think
this is very smart.
Yes, they're priming they're getting everybody to buy these remakes to prime you for Persona 6, and I love that they're doing that because you know what's happening. You know what's happening. I was just curious on your thoughts on that.
Persona 4 trailers, Pa. You know what, Andy?
Yeah, Persona 4 Golden remake or whatever, revival, is that what it's called?
That's my prediction. That's my prediction because Atlas shows up to these events.
They do.
Atlas will show up to
do.
Game Awards. I think we see Persona 4.
Wow.
That's
okay. Yeah. And like an actual trailer, not just a teaser. You know. Yeah.
Not just here's a character asset walking in a rebuild town.
Yeah, and I think that if that is shown, that definitely could come out next year. 100%. 100% could come out next year.
But you know what? Little off topic. Persona 4 never needed a remake, bro.
I haven't played it yet. Haven't played it. Can't speak on it.
It's still beautiful just the way it is. I'll play the remake. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not anti-remake. But I take a lot of comfort that even if they fumble this remake, the original Persona 4 Golden is beautiful and perfect just the way it is. Yeah. That's why I feel weird about this remake. Like, I went back and played Persona 3.
It's already golden.
The remake makes sense to me. I'm like, we need this remake. We need a definitive, accessible version on a console.
Yes.
That makes sense to me. You know, that's more up to date. Persona 4, it's just like, I hate to keep saying it, but like, it's just so beautiful the way it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure it can be recaptured.
I guess we'll find out. We'll find out. Yeah. Well, Landi, this has been an awesome discussion. I've enjoyed the heck out of this discussion. I do have one final fun segment I want to do, and it has to do with that Google Doc I sent you. But is there anything else that you would like to add to anything that we were just talking about?
You know, I think let's take it back to the Game Awards.
Sure.
I know I can be hard on Jeff, and I know I was a little hard on Kingdom Hearts fans, and I know I was hard on Snoop Dogg, but I like all three of the things I just mentioned.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
I only say these things, and maybe, and this is why you and I have always gotten along, Andy, maybe it's just like the Northeastern in me, that it's like, I can't help but just like call out a thing I don't like.
Sure.
And it's not a bad thing. I'm not like saying Game Award bad. It's just like, hey, Jeff, you know, Hollywood types like the drama kids at school always look down on the fucking gamer kids. Maybe don't invite them to our party.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Paul Castro Jr. could introduce Best Voice Actor. You know?
Yeah.
He's a hell of a voice actor himself. That's over.
Right.
Anyway, I guess because maybe some people are getting to know me for the first time. Is it like I criticize something because I love it? Yes. And that's how I am too. Yeah. I will literally, if I don't love something, I literally just don't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean that's valid. Like my favorite games of all time are the games that I have criticized the most. And yeah, it's because I played them so many times, but it's like, but I have criticisms because I care about these games. I love these games. And you know what? You know, like if a studio comes out with another game in this franchise that I really love, whatever that might be, you know, I voice my criticisms because I want them to make an even better game. I want them to give me give me a new favorite game, right? So that's where I'm at. So I want to do a fun little segment here. So I've got this Google Doc that I shared with you. It's listed 1 through 10. So here's what I'm going to have you do, Landi. You're going to be blind ranking something. Okay, I've got a list. I'm going to have you blind rank video games that came out over the last 5 years. Now, I have specifically chosen, and I'm going to let you know right now, this list is catered towards you. So do not feel bad if you put something at number 10, right? Because there's all these games out here are good. But I'm going to have you blind rank these games. And we're going to start with the first game I'm going to have you blind rank 1 through 10 is Final Fantasy 16.
over the last 5 years.
Yeah, so these are games that came out over the last 5 years. I know you've played all these games. So I don't think there's a game on here that you haven't played. But I'm really excited just to see like how this goes.
16.
Yeah.
That is last 5 years.
It's a tough one to start with, but we had to start with a good one.
I'm going to kind of just feel them out. It's going to land at a 6 or 7. I'm going to put it at 7 for now.
Okay.
I think I might feel like it deserves 6, but last 5 years?
Yeah.
But these are also the games you're choosing. So I am going to give it that. I'm going to give it that 6 slot for now.
Okay.
Actually. Oh.
Okay.
I don't know how this happened to your Google Doc. But
No, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, giving it the 6th slot. The next game is Stellar Blade.
Last 5 years. It's definitely. That's tough. Because I like its combat better than 16, but 16's got the better narrative.
This is going to be a tough list. Yeah.
I'm going to put it at 7.
Putting it at 7? Okay, that's fair. Next game, Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh, okay. Man, last 5. Ooh, it's either 3 or 4.
Okay.
It's either 3 or 4. Oh.
And I had to put Octopath on here because I always need to find a reason to talk about Octopath. So like
anytime.
Yes.
Bro, anytime. Here's how much I loved Octopath 2. I prefer its combat to Expedition 33. Not a knock on Expedition 33.
Absolutely.
The way Octopath's combat just makes me feel
the boost system, dude, is so good. Dude, it's an adrenaline. I think it's more of an adrenaline rush. It's so good.
The way it makes you feel, the way Octopath just makes you feel, man. Oh, I'm trying to think games I would rank above it. All right. I'm gonna put it at 4.
Okay, Octopath Traveler 2 at 4.
Give it 3, but I think 4 is its spot. Let's go.
Okay, next game, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Perfect. I was thinking that's gonna go. I think. Now let me ask you something. Mm-hmm. In theory, am I allowed to move any of these around, or are they stuck where they are?
They are stuck where they're at, and then I'll just at the end, I'm gonna ask you, if you could change your list, what would you move around? Yeah, but they're stuck where they're at. This is a blind ranking.
Blind ranking. In truth, I'm stuck between 5 and 8.
For Final Fantasy VII Remake. Interesting.
This is Remake.
Yes.
Here's the thing. The line that separates Remake and Octopath Traveler 2 is pretty thick, actually. But the line that separates Remake from 16 and Stellar Blade is pretty thin. So I'm not sure which side to put it on, in front of those two or behind those two.
Interesting. Okay.
It's definitely, it's not top 3. I love Remake, and I actually think it has better art direction than Rebirth, but these, games as a whole. Oh. All right. I'm gonna throw it on 8 for now.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I wanted to put it 5, and I think I might, but we'll see. You know what? No, I'm gonna put it at 5.
Putting it at 5. Okay.
Retroactively, it'll be 6, but I'm gonna put it at 5.
Okay. All right. So we got 6 more games left, my friend. The next game, Astrobot.
Oh, I love Astrobot.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put it 10.
Okay. Fair.
Put Astrobot. Mm-hmm. Because platformers aren't my favorite in general, even though I really love platformers.
Right.
Genre-wise, it's a little bit below some of the others, so I'll put Astrobot 10.
Okay, that's fair. Next game. The game that got snubbed, Split Fiction.
I'm gonna put that at 9.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that at 9. I liked it better than Astrobot. I think Astrobot has better level design, but the split fiction narrative plus the co-op was just too good. I'm gonna put that at 9.
Okay, next game. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
It's either 2 or 3. It's either 2 or 3. And you know, it's so funny. There's probably no game I've criticized more lately than Rebirth. Again, because I love it and I want Part 3 to be the best video game ever made. As a game, just gameplay wise, Rebirth really was terrific. Its combat, going around the open zones, the affinity system, the side content. I know the mini games were annoying for some people, but the side content in that game is really good.
It is. It is. And there's so much of it too.
There's so much to do.
So much variety.
It's.
You can sink 20 hours into I already forgot what the card Queen's, what is it called? Queen's Blood. I almost said Queen's Gambit. Whatever. Yeah. You can sink 20 hours into Queen's Blood itself, right? So what you're putting
a separate Queen's Blood game. So I'm gonna put Rebirth at 2. I feel like I might knock it down to 3.
Rebirth at 2. Okay.
I'm gonna put it at 2.
Okay. Next game. We got 3 left here. We've got the 1 slot, the 3 slot, and the 8 slot. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, so that I'm actually going to put at 8.
Interesting. Okay.
I really loved Tears of the Kingdom. I really, really did. In fact, I've been itching to play it again. But my criticisms have always been that, okay, terrific game, by the way. I just want to make that so clear. Terrific game.
And you're a big Zelda guy, too.
Big Zelda guy. This is not shade. But I felt the narrative was lacking compared to other 3D Zeldas. I thought Zelda had a superior character arc in Breath of the Wild compared to Tears of the Kingdom. So I guess what I'm trying to say is Tears of the Kingdom did gameplay better. I think Breath of the Wild essentially did everything else better. And my reason for feeling that way, if people will hear me out, the champions in Breath of the Wild are better than the sages in Tears of the Kingdom. The cast is just better in Breath of the Wild. In Tears of the Kingdom, look, the biggest appeal of Breath of the Wild, and if Breath of the Wild was on this list, it was more than 5 years ago, it would be a top 3 for me, because I preferred Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, is that exploring that Hyrule for the first time was a gaming experience I don't think I'll ever have again.
Yeah.
And to me, Zelda's combat isn't the best part of it, okay? The Wild era has good puzzle solving, but the puzzle solving isn't the best part of this era. The best part of this era is map exploration and looking for all the nooks and crannies and caves and hidden places and hidden treasures. And the fact that Tears of the Kingdom drops you on the same map as Breath of the Wild took that novelty away. So Tears of the Kingdom is a better game than Breath of the Wild. But Breath of the Wild, to me, is a better experience.
Yes.
And as someone who loves and is obsessed with narrative, Breath of the Wild's narrative was so far superior to Tears of the Kingdom. And the way I say that is both stories primarily went through Zelda. And in Breath of the Wild, you watch Zelda transform from a brat to a goddess. And in Tears of the Kingdom, she's just as virtuous at the end as she is in the beginning. That's my take. Brilliant game, putting it at number 8.
Yeah, and that finale for Tears of the Kingdom, though.
Okay,
Amazing.
I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
Best finale in the history of Zelda.
I agree. I would say that and again, from the Zelda games that I've played, I have not played any of the 2D Zeldas yet, but and I didn't grow up with Zelda. So over the last 3 years, I started to get into Zelda. I'd say Tears of the Kingdom and Twilight Princess, in my opinion, had and Skyward Sword probably are my top 3. Well, I don't know. Ocarina of Time's finale was really good, but
dude, all the finales, baby.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, dang.
Exactly. I'll say this. I think Tears of the Kingdom is the best gameplay climax in the history of the series. Even the narrative climax is pretty damn good. The thing I love is that most Zeldas, you finish by ascending a tower. This Zelda, you descended into the pits of hell to fight the devil himself.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
There was something so hardcore about that.
Yes,
that I love.
yes. So that's so good. So Tears of the Kingdom number 8. Okay, we've got 2 games left. The 1 and the 3 slot. Your next game, Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
This is great. I would eventually move this around. I might put it a little bit higher, but I have no problem putting that at number 3. No problem.
Okay, well, you got 1 game left.
It better be what I think it is, or I'm going to be very upset with you.
It's not. I don't. It's not going to be what you think it is. I might have forgot one in here. The game that you're putting at number 1 is Marvel Rivals.
Andy.
What?
Andy.
Okay. If that. So before you move anything around, what was the game that you wanted to see here at number 1? Let's say that.
1 second. I'm going to check something very quick.
Okay.
Just want to double check my work.
Right.
Before. Okay, good. Okay, see? That would have what I just looked up would have upset me big time. But you're in the clear. I am very, very shocked you did not include Endwalker on this list. I thought that's
Oh,
where you
yeah. So I actually thought about I was thinking about FF14 and I'm like, yeah, it's like an expansion, and I'm like, I don't know, like, because like I guess there, yeah, because right, yeah. So you would Marvel Rivals, LOL. That's so funny. So you would put Endwalker at number 1 if this was up here.
I would put Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker above everything on this list. Shadowbringers was the best.
Okay,
I'll say that.
Yep.
But I would put Endwalker above all this. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's, after you go on like 5 or 6 RPG campaigns with the same cast.
Right.
Bro, I'm like choking up thinking about it. Like, bro, like Endwalker just like Shadowbringers was just perfection in narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Endwalker was just like perfection and like just hitting you in your emotional core. And like, bro, I've had a lot of games that like make me cry like upon their conclusion. Like the game ended, I had such a great experience. I'm letting out these like tears of joy.
Yeah.
Endwalker was that game that like, as the narrative was climaxing, I'm just there like, no,
Yeah.
I'm like agony and ache. I'm like, oh, it's just, man, it just got such a reaction out of me, Endwalker.
Yeah.
Because Shadowbringers, I always loved FF14. I think Shadowbringers made it contend for my favorite game of all time.
Right.
So that I was just so locked in for Endwalker. And that, again, just, man,
to be honest, it slipped my mind. I wasn't even thinking about FF14 because I'm like, yeah, that game's been out forever. But it's like, yeah, they get expansions. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 1 mulligan. You get 1 mulligan. You can.
So I could just change Marvel Rivals to 14?
Sure. I'll give you 1 mulligan. Yeah.
Marvel Rivals would not make this list.
Yeah. Well, I had to put some games. I'm like, yeah, I think you'd put this probably towards the bottom. But I was curious to see like where you would rank this. So how do you feel about this list? And what would you change if you could change anything?
Okay, what I would change, I'd swap Expedition 33 and Octopath.
Okay, that's fair.
I'd swap that. Here's where things get interesting, right? Because I do believe Expedition 33 is the superior game. But for me, this is where it's hard, and this is where I'm gonna lose people. I swear to God, right now.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
I love it. But if this is the list of like games that like I personally love and how much I love them, Expedition 33 might be number 7 or 8.
Interesting.
No, and it's a brilliant game. It's just that, like, for instance, I tend to be biased towards Eastern art styles.
Yes, of course.
That's really where this comes from. It's not a question of quality. It's just that, like, if I had a day to live, I would rather play Remake than Expedition 33, just because FF7 means that much to me. So For the most part, this is good. For the most part,
Yeah.
I think if I had to swap, I'd probably bring Expedition 33 down to just above Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
And I would swap. No, I think that's really all I would do. Looking at it now, I think all I would do is take Expedition 33, drag it down to 7, and everything else moves up 1.
Okay. So Octopath would be number 3, Remake would be 4, 16 would be 5, and so on. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Dude, honestly, yeah, good list. Good list for a blind ranking. Yeah.
It came out pretty good. Thanks for the mulligan really saved me there.
No, of course.
Ranking,
Yeah.
You did a good job.
Yeah, I was like wondering, I'm like, he might put like one of the FF7s at number 1, and I'm like, I'll throw like, I feel like he's going to put Split Fiction a little bit lower. Stellar Blade's probably going to fall in the middle. Astrobot's going to be a bit lower. And I thought Marvel Rivals, I thought you were going to put like other things at number 1. That's why I was like, let's just end on Marvel Rivals. Maybe he'll leave like the 9 slot open.
I really would have loved to be inside your head as you're watching each one come off the list, and you're like, oh God, I missed something good now.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I'm like, because Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in 2019. I'm not going to count Remind because that's DLC, and I just, Endwalker just slipped my mind whenever I was making this. But
so.
Yeah.
I get it though. To the uninitiated, FF14 looks like just one game.
Right.
It is, but in terms of an RPG campaign, it's a lineup of RPG campaigns.
Absolutely.
So. No, this is cool. No, it puts things in perspective, man. I'm almost looking, and I'm really, Andy, this is how I know we've been friends, because I'm like, I don't think you missed. I'm thinking over the last 5 years, I don't think you missed.
Well, I also know that you really like Marvel Rivals. So I was like, that's why I was like, I'm going to put it on here. I think he's going to put it a bit lower. Well, I mean, it was the last game. What's that?
I would tap out Astrobot for Rivals. That's probably what I would do. Mm-hmm. But Astrobot and Rivals are kind of neck and neck for me. But no, this is kind of on point.
Sweet.
It's pretty good.
All right, awesome. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for doing that. And dude, I had a blast for the first episode of What's Brewing. That's gonna be a wrap. I had a great time. Landi, it's always an amazing time talking to you, whether it's on camera or off camera. We've been buddies for a while now, and
we always have a good time.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be a good time. I'm very thankful that you said yes to coming on here, and it was an honor having you. And is there anything else you want to add? And if not, please go ahead and plug yourself. And I am going to have in the description, I'm going to have all your socials and where they can find you and everything. But please go ahead, tell us what you're doing next, and what's going on with you.
Right. So look, I mean, I for one think we're in a very exciting time for video games and the gaming industry. And it brings me a lot of joy to say that because, Andy, we've had discussions, and people who watch my show know this. I was not singing that tune 2 years ago.
Right.
2 years ago, I was like, this industry is unsustainable. This is all going to come crashing down. Layoffs are going to be everywhere, and indies are going to take over. And I thought that was going to happen over 5-10 years. I didn't expect that would all take place in 2 years. And then we're at a point now where I really feel like a renaissance is coming. I truly believe that. If you want to be along for the ride with that, come follow my channel, because outside of these RPG narratives that we dissect and analyze and talk character arcs and the hero's journey and all that, we've also started kind of really going in on the business aspect of the industry. Yeah. Because I think it's important. I do think if you're going to be a sicko, right, you can be a normie. We love normies. But if you're going to be a sicko, you might want to learn how this industry works a little bit. And, it'll help you understand why these companies are doing the things they're doing. And as I always like to say, observing something is true is not the same as saying I support it. Mm-hmm. But with that said, I'm Landi. I run the Landi Lodge primarily on YouTube. We're on Twitter, Kick, Twitch, but YouTube's the main hangout. We do podcasts primarily. I like to put up videos and other stuff, but if you like RPGs, and particularly you like talking about their narratives, I'm your guy, man. And if you like a guy who runs his mouth, you'll enjoy my Twitter as well. And I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Well, Landi, thank you so much for coming to hang out, and everybody, thank you guys for watching. We will be just kind of releasing these podcasts just as we go. I'm not trying to like crank out a bunch of them like back to back to back. Just, we're just talking about what's brewing. So thank you everybody for watching. And Landi, thank you again for coming on the show. And until the next one, my name is Andy Brew. That is the Landi Lodge. And we will see you guys later. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Andy Brew. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the podcast. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing, drop a like on the video, leave a comment down below. This is primarily going to be the format for these podcasts. However, I do plan on doing some solo podcasts in the future, and those ones I think I'm going to try to do live so I can interact with you guys on the solo pod. So, please look forward to it. It's going to be awesome. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care.